If you don't know music theory, if you're not a musician, or if you're just starting out, don't let any of that intimidate you. Eventide's Temperance Pro is a revolutionary reverb plugin that uses modal technology to replicate spaces using thousands of resonators. The heart of Temperance and its modal model is the ability to emphasize and de-emphasize specific notes in the reverb, opening the door to endless creative possibilities. When you pull up Temperance, this is what you're going to see. Our mix is at 50%. Now, I want it at 100% because I'm using this on an aux end and sending this guitar to it. So I don't need a mix of the wet-dry because I've already got my dry signal on its own track, and so Temperance is just going to be putting out reverb. We have notes that are already selected. These are not the notes that I want, and in general, they're probably not going to be the notes that you want either. So I usually find that it's a good idea to clear these out. If you hold down Option on a Mac and click any one of these, it's going to clear all of them out. For this song, I chose A sharp, C, and F as the notes that I want to temper. A sharp, C, and F. Now, how did I get there? It is not from in-depth musical knowledge. It is not from knowing theory. It is from hunting and pecking around and finding something that sounded good to my ears. I find it really easy to put the tempering to 100% and then press play as I fish around for notes. I don't want that extreme of tempering for this particular effect. I want something a little softer, and I want to hear the rest of the reverb a little bit more. So I'm going to pull that back to like between 50 and 60 somewhere to get started. Maybe a little bit more. That sounds beautiful and lush and really big, and that could be fine, but I'm looking for something a little more specific. The first thing I'm going to do is pull the decay down a little bit. I'm going to pull the size down a little bit. And right now we're hearing the bright room algorithm. What I'm going to move to is the sizzling synthetic. So let's check that out with the settings that we've got. The next thing I'm going to adjust is the density knob. Now what the density knob does is change the amount of resonators that are making the reverb. What's going to happen is that less and less resonators are going to be used. You can hear it start to really kind of get almost grainy. This is sounding even cooler to me. Less high end happens to be really, really nice for this particular song. It's mellow. It's making it sound a little more natural, but like this doesn't sound like I'm in a room or running through a plate reverb. It sounds like something all its own, which is exactly what I'm looking for. Lowering that density did take a lot of the high-end information out of the reverb, and to maybe get some of that back, I'm going to adjust the offset. And the offset is going to adjust the resonant energy of the reverb, and if I push this up, it's going to push that resonant energy up, giving me a little bit of that top end back. Let's check it out. The fun thing about the offset knob is that when you move it, it's going to change the pitch as you move it. Now, once it's settled, it doesn't change the pitch. Your F is an F, your C is a C. But if I move this around as the track is playing, I'm definitely going to be automating that a little bit later. The last thing I'm going to do is adjust the pre-delay so that I get a little more distance between the guitar and the reverb happening. You can adjust the pre-delay based on milliseconds. If you click this clock, you can link to your session. I can select an eighth note, quarter note, dotted 32nd, all based on whatever tempo my DAW is set at. Where I ended up on this is a dotted 16th note, so let's just get right to it. Turn the sync off versus where it was at just 11 milliseconds. Small, but to me, important difference. I think it's really going to allow it to stand out much more in the track. Cool, I like that. Last thing I'm gonna do is automate the offset. So go up to automation, go down to frequency offset, add that to our automatable functions, go over to the track that Temperance is on, put it on touch, then I'm gonna automate it in real time as it plays down. Let's see how we did. I think this gives a pretty good example of where you can go with Temperance that's really not going to feel like your standard reverb effect. So in this song, I've got a harmony vocal that comes in the chorus, and I'm looking for something a little more interesting to make that background vocal pop. So I'm going to add Temperance to that vocal track. And then I can play back my track and make my note selections.
I was waiting in the cold to find the future of everything. I was waiting in the cold to find the future of everything.
So the first thing I'm going to do is change the reverb algorithm. Right now, we're on Bright Room, which is one of 29 reverb algorithms that you get with Temperance Pro. They all sound different and they all sound great. Let's just go to the standard synthetic space and see what that does to our sound.
I was waiting in the cold to find the future of everything.
So those notes feel a little more articulate. It's a little brighter, a little crispier, which I think with this acoustic song is gonna be really exciting when the chorus comes in and there's this kind of otherworldly sound happening. The other thing I'm gonna do is adjust the density. So I'll play it back and bring it down as it's playing back.
I was waiting in the cold to find the future of everything. In the silent dome, packing the future of everything.
That made it a little grainier, it made it a little darker. To counteract that darkness, I'm gonna bring up the offset.
I was waiting in the cold to find the future of everything.
This isn't something I would expect a normal reverb to do. This is something that makes Temperance really special. It responds so well to experimentation, and it's so easy and forgiving to experiment with. Let's check this out in the whole track.
I was waiting in the cold to find the future of everything. Within the silent dome, unpacking the future of everything.
And then again without it.
I was waiting in the cold to find the future of everything.
And then back on.
Within the silent dome, unpacking the future of everything.
So we've been focusing on Temperance Pro. Temperance Lite is a great entrance point. Temperance Pro and Lite both have fully functional, unrestricted trials that you can download and use for free for 2 weeks. And you know, this is just one example of something that Temperance can do that doesn't really sound like a traditional reverb, but it does make me think, what is that when I hear the song? And that is something that I love in any music that I listen to. If I can't pinpoint what the effect is and it sits in the track and it sounds right, that is one of the most exciting things to me in music.